Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome to a quick video about how to get certified in Master Coach University. This will be your guide, your video guide basically, to the certification process that we have available to you as a part of your participation in Master Coach University. So in this video, we're going to cover the purpose of the certification process, the certification requirements, and how to get certified. So I'm actually going to give you the steps to take in order to actually get certified within each 8-week immersion training. And then finally, I'm going to cover how to graduate Master Coach University and gain your Master Coach certification as well. So let's start with the purpose of the certification process. Why do we bother with having a specialized process you need to pass through in order to gain your certificates, in order to gain your Master Coach certification at all? A couple of reasons. First of all, this process assures that you will reach key standards of effectiveness as a coach. And there could be a lot of reasons why this might be important. Number one is we want to make sure that you are a part of a group of the most elite coaches in the world. Really, ultimately, what I like to call world-class coaches. You're not necessarily going to be the best coach in the world, but you'll be world-class. And that is literally after you get any certification from us, you will be a world-class coach. This is also to assure that you reach key standards of effectiveness just for yourself, not just to do you the favor of being one of the best coaches you can be, but also so you just gain the confidence of knowing that's who you are. Now, by the way, I mean, even before we had these certification standards in Master Coach University, just about every graduate had that kind of confidence because they had done so much coaching during the 8-week immersion training. So by the time you've done that much coaching, you got a ton of confidence. But this is that last kind of salute, that last kind of the final shoe to drop, so to speak, or dropping the other shoe, or the final straw that broke the camel's back. Bottom line being that it's that final icing on the cake that reminds you who you've become in the process of going through these trainings, gaining your certifications, and ultimately becoming a master coach. And having that diploma, having that certification, for some of us, it's a very important reminder, something that you can not just be proud of, but it just helps you to remember who you are and who you've become in this process. Next, this is also a part of what supports your studies. When you know you are working towards certification, it can be more motivating. That can support your studies. When you know you're going to be tested and you're going to be going through some of the trials that you're going to have to pass through within the certification process, you will be working at your highest level possible. And we've set this certification process up not just not just to make sure you meet certain standards, but also to make sure that that within the system that you're a part of in Master Coach University and in the 8-week immersion trainings, that it causes everyone that's around you really to be working with you to help you get certified. I'll give you one example for this, and we'll really cover this a little bit more as we go through this. But for instance, because you know that you're going to need to reach certain standards in some recorded calls that you submit from some of the coaching calls that you're going to do during the 8-week immersion training, your clients are really going to try to work with you to create a great call. And they will get greater breakthroughs from you as a result of that, and you will see more successes come from those coaching sessions just because they know that you're going to have to reciprocate with them and be a really great client for them as well. Beyond that, also, as you guys score each other, it becomes more of a way to give each other feedback to get ready to submit those calls also. So because the pressure is on not just for you but for everyone around you, they're really going to be working even better and even more with you to support you in this process of giving you what you need during these 8-week immersion trainings. So really, this whole process and the way we've integrated it with the 8-week immersion trainings will truly support your studies from all ends, not just from motivating you and providing you with a kind of a backbone of standards that you know you're going to have to meet. So you study and so you learn, so you apply this stuff, and so you understand the scores and you continue to try to improve, but also that everyone around you, all the other coaches on your team, all the partners, everybody that's working with you, including me, is really fighting to have you accomplish what you are committed to and hoping to accomplish by the end of each immersion training and ultimately as you graduate as well. And then the final purpose, I already kind of alluded to this, of the certification process, to assure the highest reputation among Master Coach University graduates. We want you to know that when you graduate from Master Coach University, the other graduates are going to represent well the diploma and the Master Coach certification that you share with them. So your reputation will grow as our graduates grow, and because our graduates are at the highest level of standards before they get certified with us, the only graduates and coaches that are claiming to be certified by us are going to be really amazing coaches. And so your reputation will only get better. Your credibility will only move to the north as Master Coach University continues to help people become master coaches being certified through Master Coach University. So what are the certification requirements and how do you actually get certified with each discipline? Let's cover these. Number one, first requirement is that you attend all training sessions, all 8 training sessions. Second, that you complete all coaching calls with your coaching team. Third, that you complete all coursework, meaning all the assignments inside of the assignment sheets. Fourth, that you receive coach quality and performance evaluations of 25 or higher on 2 recorded coaching sessions. And specifically, this means getting an evaluation of 25 or higher from someone on the staff of Master Coach University. Chances are that's either going to be me or one of my top master coaches. You're going to submit these recorded coaching sessions to us, and we will evaluate those recorded sessions themselves. So this doesn't mean get a 25 or higher from the person that you coached that day. They maybe gave you a 30. I don't care what they gave you. We need to actually be the ones scoring those 2 recorded sessions, and you need to get a 25 or higher from us, not just from the rest of your coaching team. 5, demonstrate intellectual mastery of the discipline in a short online exam. Now, by the way, these requirements, these 5 requirements, apply in each discipline. Each of the 3 8-week immersion trainings, they must be completed in each immersion training. So just a note on that. This isn't just once. This is actually something you'll need to complete 3 times in total. Attend all 8 training sessions for every immersion training, complete all the coaching calls in every immersion training, complete all the coursework in every immersion training. Hopefully you get the idea. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started going through the details of each of these requirements and how you can complete the requirements. So we'll start with attend all training sessions. Attend all training sessions. So roll is taken every single training session. So you really can't miss these because I'll know if you're not there. We use the preliminary training session to assure that you can attend all subsequent training sessions. So we've really put that in as a kind of a courtesy, but in addition to that, we also set it up to make sure that there are really no excuses for not showing to a training session as well. Do whatever it takes to attend. So hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. You've got to attend all 8 training sessions in each 8-week immersion training. Let's move on to complete all coaching calls with your coaching team. So these are weekly sessions. As we've mentioned many times before, the coaching team weekly sessions that you do, they last for 8 weeks. And these weekly sessions include, okay, say it with me, you coach them, they coach you, and then scores that are given and received. You coach them, they coach you, scores are given and received. This is something we've talked about 20 times by now probably if you're watching this video, but it should go without saying, but just to reiterate, these coaching sessions, every single week you're going to have to coach them and get a score. Every single week they need to coach you and get a score from you, and you need to participate in that process and fully complete those 3 aspects every single week of the 8 weeks. So if you or they miss a session, make it up. Just that simple. If you miss a session, make it up. If you have a problem with a coach, work it out. Just that simple. Well, sometimes a coach might say, well, gee, Jeff, it's really not that simple. But the bottom line is, if you're committed to working things out with a coach, 9 times out of 10, it'll work out. You guys will get what you need from each other, even if you have a little bit of a challenge working with each other. That's part of the training sometimes, is working with a human being. So this is what it means to complete all coaching calls with your coaching team. Let's move on now to the third aspect of certification requirements and how to fulfill that requirement. Complete all coursework, meaning your assignment sheets. So these assignments are located in your workbook. That's where they are. Now, sometimes a coach will say, well, I went online and I couldn't find the assignments. Or, I went into my CD-ROM and I couldn't find my assignments. Or, I was all over my iPod that you sent me and I'm looking for my assignments. I found one of the assignments, but I couldn't find the other one. And that's because the assignments aren't in your iPod. The assignments aren't in your CD-ROM. The assignments are not in the online portals that we supply. They're in your workbook. So go to your workbook. That's where the assignments are located. They are located in no other place whatsoever in the entire all the materials that we've given you, unless something dramatic has changed since I've made this video. So go to your workbook if you want to see where those assignments are and you want to see the assignments. Now, support materials are provided for assignments, and those materials happen to be located online, on the CD-ROM, and or on your iPod. So that when people get the misconception, or coaches get the misconception that that's where the assignments are, it's generally simply because there are support materials that support the assignments, but just the support materials aren't the assignments. And that's the important thing to remember. If you get behind, attempt to keep up. Talk to your mentor, talk to your group leader, get coaching on this. There are lots of different techniques for catching up on your assignments if you get behind, for staying up to date on your assignments. One of my greatest suggestions is to start early, start your assignments as soon as you get your materials. Most of the time you will get some aspect of your materials at least a week or two before the first week of the training, usually by orientation week, which is still a week before the training actually begins. So you should want to get ahead. By the time you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you're already kind of getting into the training, and so you might be sweating it already, thinking, okay, I'm starting to get behind. And if you think you're starting to get behind, then you really got to redouble your efforts to get your coursework done. Really do the best you can to keep up. And you know what? When it comes down to it, it's not rocket science to keep up. It's fairly simple. It's not easy, but it is simple, and that's the good news. It's not a kind of one of those things you got to figure out how to do it. All you got to do is throw time at it. Just spend time on your assignments. You will get through them eventually. The more time you put in, the faster, well, not the faster you get through them, but the the better chance you have of getting through them by the deadlines that we set for you. So make sure you get those assignments done. They're located in your workbook. Moving on to the fourth certification requirements. Receive coach quality and performance evaluations of 25 or higher from myself or my staff on 2 recorded coaching sessions. So this is probably the most involved requirement in terms of just setup and planning, things like that. Obviously, there's a lot more time that you'll be putting into probably some other things, but this takes a little. This can be a little complex. It takes a little tweaking, possibly, to make sure that you can get these recordings to me. So listen closely to this section, because I'm really going to give you as many tools as you need in order to be able to fulfill this requirement. So these sessions that you record and that you send to us, they will be scored within your current discipline. So as you can see, I've got a little graphic of the strategy performance evaluation card or spreadsheet. So if you're a strategy coach, that would be your spreadsheet. If you're an assessment coach, then I'll be scoring you, or my staff will be scoring you with the assessment evaluation. And if you're accountability, you'll be scored with the accountability evaluation. So hopefully that makes sense. They'll be scored within your current discipline, not outside of that discipline. You'll need to submit other calls for other disciplines at a later point once you're going through that training specifically. So that should be pretty self-explanatory. Now, by the way, and this is just a little extra couple tips that I don't have in the notes here, so we're going to come off of the slides for a second. And I want to talk to you just for a second about how to prepare yourself to submit calls that will be scored at a 25 or higher. Now, getting scored at a 25 or higher, if you're in this training and you're actually really applying yourself, it really shouldn't be that hard, especially if you only have to find 2 recorded sessions where you performed at that level or higher, just that in such a way where you get scored by me or my staff. So yes, we score, myself and my staff, we score very strictly. We score very rigorously, and so you will need to perform a very good coaching session in order to score at a 25 or higher, no doubt. But you should be doing really good coaching sessions by the end of any 8-week immersion training, though. So so just naturally, if you just do the coursework, you're probably going to be pretty okay in this realm. However, a couple other tips. These are some things that you can do to assure that the first 2 submissions that you give, almost unquestionably going to be 25s or higher. Number 1, use the peer scores as a feedback mechanism. When your peer scores you, they dock you 1 point, like they score you 9 out of 10 instead of 10 out of 10. If that happens, find out why. Find out what you need to do differently in order to get a 10 from them. And don't let them get away with just, well, it's the first session, so I scored you a little bit less. Or, well, I don't want to score you perfect. Like that's not even scoring fairly. And you need to call them on that. They need an actual reason for scoring you down. And that could include, I just didn't feel it, or I didn't experience what I need to experience, or you didn't tell me this, or there's all sorts of other answers other than, well, gee, I just figured I would, right? So use the scores anytime you get less than a 30. Find out what you can do better. Find out what you can improve. Find out what they needed from you in order to produce the results in your discipline, not just what they felt like hearing, but the stuff that would provide accountability, or stuff that would provide strategy, the great strategy coaching, stuff that would provide a great assessment coaching session, and get that feedback from them. That's the important stuff. Now, if they score you a 30 out of 30, get feedback from them anyway. What else could I have done? How much better could this have been? What would have made this session even better? I know it was perfect, but what could have made it even better? Was there anything that was missing? Was there anything that didn't work quite the way you'd like it to? And what could I have done differently to help you in that area? Try to get other answers from them. That'll help tremendously. The other and my final tip for you that's kind of off these slides is If this is your first time through your 8-week immersion training, then get with your mentor and actually ask them to let you coach them for maybe a couple weeks and get scores and feedback from them. It is an invaluable process to get feedback and scores before you get these. You have a score you in writing, because that verbal feedback can be just super super valuable for getting ready and preparing yourself for getting a 25 or higher at least. So if you do those things, I can't imagine you not getting at least one 25 or higher score from the 2 initially submitted coaching sessions, and then you'll be on your way. Next, record many of your coaching sessions. Don't just record a couple of them, and choose 2 of the best demonstrations of your performance. I can't reiterate this enough. It's so important that you don't just record a couple coaching sessions and hope that you're just rolling the dice and hoping that those are the coaching sessions that turn out well. That is just not a good idea. You just don't know when you're going to do a perfect coaching session. You just never know. You can't predict that. There's no way of predicting it. Sometimes I will think that I'm on fire and I'm just going to do an amazing coaching session, and then it falls flat. And then other days I'm like, the last thing I feel like I could do right now is talk to another human being and actually help them, and I just blow everybody away. So you just can't predict how well you're going to do. Yes, there are ways that you can take control and improve your performance, no doubt. But in the later weeks of the training, week 4, week 5, week 6, 7, and 8, you should be recording those sessions. And then late in the training, if you feel like you've got 3, 4, 5 just perfect sessions, just phenomenal sessions, maybe you can pare it down then, and that's great if you can do that. But don't risk it by just recording a couple sessions and thinking, it's week 8, I better start recording a couple of these sessions. Not a good idea. Not a good idea, because maybe you're gonna end up with a couple crappy sessions, or some sessions where you just don't demonstrate. Because by the way, in order for you to get a 25 or higher, you can't just show up at a coaching session and not screw up. You need to demonstrate the skills that I'm going to be scoring you in that performance evaluation. If you have a good coaching session, but you didn't demonstrate the skills of a strategy coach or the things that an accountability coach needs to produce in the session, if you don't demonstrate that stuff to me, you're not going to get a 25. You're going to get lower than that. Even if I thought, hey, you could have a perfect coaching session and still not get a 25. Why? Because you did a perfect strategy session and you're an accountability coach in this 8-week immersion training. I hope this makes sense. So that's why you just can't just wait until week 8, do 3 or 4 recordings and hope that it'll all work out well. Because maybe by that time your clients are feeling just overcoached and they don't really have anything they're accountable for. They don't have anything they need strategy coaching on. They've had all their breakthroughs and they're kind of done. They've popped, right? That it's not your fault, but you waited till week 8, and those are the sessions, and I didn't give you 25s. And you're better than that. You're a better coach than that, possibly. So in week 3 or 4 or 5. Those might be the real hot weeks for you to deliver some amazing coaching. So don't think that later in the training is your hot time. It may not be. So record a bunch of these. Feedback will be provided in writing. So when I score these, or when my staff scores these, they will listen to your coaching session. They will take notes. They will submit your score. But along with their score submission, they will be giving written feedback on what you can do to improve, what was missing, what didn't work, what was great, and what worked really well also. So the feedback will be in writing, and the feedback will be enough detail so you can improve. So feedback will be provided in writing. If you do not reach a 25 or higher, 1 new coaching session can be submitted per month for a new evaluation. So let me be clear about this. Let's say you submit 2 recorded coaching sessions in your 8-week immersion training, which is what you can do. You submit 2 to us during the 8 weeks. And then you get, a 15 and a 12, in those coaching sessions for whatever reason. So neither of them got scored very well. Well, the following month after your 8-week immersion training is complete, if you're ready to do so, you can submit another coaching session to us, one other recorded coaching session, and it will be scored and you'll be provided feedback. Okay. Now let's say that next coaching session that you submit the following month, you get a 30 out of 30, right? You just blow it away. Great. Now you got one more recorded coaching session that you need to get a 25 or higher for, and therefore the following month you can, if you're ready, submit another recorded coaching session, and then maybe that one you get a 24, and then you need to wait till the following month, submit another one, and you'll get maybe, let's say, a 26, and then you're done, right? So now look, as I mentioned before, you really should be getting both your coaching sessions that you submit during the 8-week immersion training at 25 or higher. You should get those scores. So you should be done with this process a few weeks after the 8-week immersion training. In the event that you don't get one or both of those out of 25 or higher, yes, it will take a few months, chances are, for you to actually get those 25s, because you'll need to look at the feedback, really go practice based upon that feedback and improve. You will need to improve. You can't just look at the feedback and hope that you're going to get a better score, right? So you'll need to maybe put some practice in, and then go find somebody to coach them, and then submit that recording, right? So it could take a few more months after the 8-week immersion training. So bottom line being that we want just as much as you to expedite this process, have this done, have you get your scores, get your 25s, so we can give you your certification during the Master Coach certification training if you're going to be coming there, or just go ahead and mail it out to you. And the reason why I implemented this submission of 1 recording per month after the 8-week immersion training is so that no matter what's going on in Master Coach University that I'm responsible for, or my staff is responsible for, that we're able to get to any amount of submissions that may come in that particular month. So this just sets it up so we have a little bit of a queue, so we can make sure that we can be pretty prompt as far as getting you your evaluation back within, let's say, a couple weeks or so. The first 2 submissions must be recordings that are with members of your coaching team. So in your 8-week immersion training, they need to be people that are on your coaching team. Subsequent submissions, if needed, can be with anybody. So to be clear, during the 8-week immersion training, you're going to need to create at least 2 recordings to submit to me. And those recordings are going to need to be made with other members of your coaching team that are in this training with you. Okay? After the 8-week immersion training, if you need to submit other recordings, if you didn't get your 2 recordings out of 25 or higher, then obviously, I'm not going to say you got to do it with some member of your coaching team, because they may be in Maui or something. They may be on vacation at that point and not really committed to the training, so or to ongoingly work with you. So you can just find someone else that you would like to coach, and go ahead and coach them, and that'll really be up to you. But we do need to know that we can listen to the recording. Obviously, you need to get their permission on that. That's just integrity, basically. So hopefully that's clear. Submissions must be digital audio, and what I mean by that is not we're not going to listen to an audio tape. We're not going to listen to any kind of other analog audio. I don't know what other kind of analog audio you might have, but it needs to be digital audio, meaning MP3, MOV, or a QuickTime Movie, or a WAV file or other comparable format. Now, what I mean by other comparable format is if it's something that's similar to these types of formats, and myself or my staff can actually, like, we can download a player that will play that format, or we can actually play it on our current computer, then fine. If we can convert it to one of these formats that we can play, great, that's fine. Or if you can convert it to those, fine. But just understand that if it's not one of these three formats, and it is in a format that you deem to be comparable, that doesn't mean that we believe it's comparable. So check in with us on that format to make sure that we can play it. But chances are, if you're going to be recording these, like 90% of the recordings you do will probably just be MP3 or MOV type of files. Okay, ways to record coaching sessions. Now, this is a part of this video that I'm going to give you some really, really cool methods that you can use to record coaching sessions. And you might want to use this for other aspects of your business, like, you know, recording coaching sessions, turning into a product, or sending a client a replay of a coaching session so they can review it. Just a lot of uses for recording of coaching sessions, but this will at least give you some really fairly straightforward methods for recording any coaching session that you need to without more than maybe, let's say, an hour and a half of preliminary work to get everything set up and ready for you and your client to do. So let's get started with this. First method is to get and use freeconferencecall.com. Get an account with freeconferencecall.com and then just use the conference call line for your coaching session with that client. So here's how it would work. Both parties would call the conference line. You're going to press *9 and follow the instructions to start recording. And then after you're done, the recording link will be emailed to the administrator, whoever is administrating the account. Chances are that's you. And then you just download the MP3 from their website. That's really it. So let me show you now, you know, a little bit about what this looks like. And again, I can't give you an online demonstration on the phone right now, but I can at least give you a sense of what it looks like to actually download the MP3. So here I am in my email box, and I'm just going to click on an email that came from the freeconferencecall.com service. And these always are from noreply@freeconferencecall.com. And I've got some conferences here, and then you know, they get emailed to me basically. And this conference specifically, basically at the bottom of every email, there is a link to the conference download center. You just click that link. You may need to log in, but you know, chances are you'll just stay logged in when you click that link. And that link will take you to the free conference call download center. You'll have all your calls here, the date and time that they were recorded, the duration of the call, and then you just click download. You just basically click MP3 or WAV. I always like MP3 because they're smaller files. They're still good quality. So I'm just going to click MP3. And there I am downloading at the bottom in Chrome, basically. So once I've downloaded that, I'll be able to pull it up in my Finder and then send it over to whomever, or upload it, or do whatever I need to with that specific download. So that's it. That's as simple as it gets, really. If you set up a conference call account, you'll just get the recordings mailed to you, and then you've got the MP3 that you need. Here are a couple other methods that you can take on. Use a Skype recorder. If you're international, and or you just like using Skype with your coaching sessions, which a lot of coaches nowadays do happen to use Skype quite a bit. Not the most reliable service, but it's gotten a lot better over the years. So if you want to use Skype and you'd like to record your sessions using Skype, you can use a Skype recorder. So there's several different types of Skype recorders. There's Audacity, which is free. And I'm going to show you how you can use Audacity in just a second. And then there's also call recorder for Skype. Call recorder for Skype. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at both of these solutions and a little bit about how each of them work. So let's start with the Audacity solution, which is a free download. You can get, let's see, I'll just show you where to go to get that. Let's go to probably audacity.com. There you go, audacity.sourceforge.net. That's probably it. There it is. And then it took me right to the download. So you can just search on the word Audacity probably, and you'll be able to download whatever version you need to download. It's available for PC and for Mac, which is kind of cool. So no matter what platform you're using, you can download the software basically. So that's the download section. Now let's move on to the program itself. So I'm going to go ahead and run Audacity on my computer here. Just go ahead and pull it up. Okay, here's Audacity. So you can see it just pulls up this window, and this is on a Mac, so it might work a little different on a PC, but it's probably similar. And now I'm just going to go ahead and do a Skype call. So I'm going to pull up, I'm going to go ahead and start Skype. Okay, so here's Skype, and so I'm just going to do a quick call with Skype. Let's go ahead and call. I'm just going to call myself here. Okay, so I'm making the call, and I'll just kind of pick up the phone here. There we go. We might get a little echo since we've got two microphones that are very close to each other. But so I'm on the call right now on Skype with the phone, the actual phone in my office here. Now, as soon as I want to start recording, I just go to Audacity. I just click record, and now I'm recording. And now, as you can see, as I talk into my Skype microphone, the waveforms, all the audio is showing up on Audacity very simply and easily. And then also I can go to my handset, hello, 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 and that's also being recorded on Audacity. And so that is recording on Audacity. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Go ahead and just click stop. I'm going to hang up Skype. And that should be the end of my Skype call. There we go. Okay, so hopefully I'm hung up. So anyway, so now let's go ahead and play this audio and see what we got. Recording. And now, as you can see, as I talk into my Skype microphone, the waveforms, all the audio is showing up on Audacity very simply and easily. And then also I can go to my handset, hello, 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 and that's also being recorded on Audacity. And so that is recording on Audacity. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Go ahead and just click stop. Okay, so so the neat thing about this is that what I experienced with Audacity, at least, you may have different results, is that as long as you're on a call on Skype and you have the audio set up properly, Audacity will record not only your voice but also the voice of the person that's talking to you on the other end of the phone as well. So Audacity will record both sides of the conversation. It is a free download. Doesn't get any better than that. And you saw how easy it was. You just load up both programs, and when you want to record, you just hit record on Audacity, and then bam, you're on the call, you're recording the call, and you're gonna have an MP3 of the call as soon as you export this. Audacity has a special project format that it's in, so If I wanted to create an MP3 of this, I would just go over to export, and Audacity is going to pop up a little window for me. There it is. And I can just go to, let's say, the desktop and just put sample export, and bam, now Audacity is going to go ahead and export this for me. And now I've got my MP3 of a very short call, but it's still an MP3 of the call. So that's Audacity and how to use it with Skype. Now I'm going to show you how to use Skype call recorder. And you can actually get this from a website here. I just did, the way I found this was I did a Google search for call recorder for Skype. This is basically the words they have right here. So if I do a Google search on call recorder for Skype, bam, the first result that comes up is the page that I want you to go to. Now again, I found the download for Mac, but I'm sure they've got just as good a download for PC. And you can see their little website here, and at the bottom you can download the free demo. This is a $20 product, you know, this is a product that, you know, all the big guys have used to record interviews and things like that. But the bottom line is you can use it for 7 days for free. So if you want to try this, you can use it for at least 7 days with Skype. For free, and chances are you could probably use it for longer for free. You'd probably just have to give them a different email address and or something like that, or download it, download another free trial to a different computer or something like that. There's probably all sorts of different ways to extend that free trial, but bottom line is $20, not too bad. So here it is. Here's what the little gizmo that you get with Skype is. You'll have your Skype interface, and you've got this little call recorder window basically, and this window is what you need to record. And yes, there are some different elements here you can choose from, different compression rates, stuff like that. I would just say go for AAC compression. The video doesn't matter because chances are you're doing a call, and then so we'll just get rid of that window here and get the ball rolling. I'll go ahead and call myself again, and we'll go ahead and record this call using call recorder. So I'm just going to pick up, say hello, hello. Okay, now let's start the ball rolling and record. So we'll just hit record on our little call recorder. Okay, now we are recording, and this obviously shows my voice from the mic, and the output volume is probably from the other end of the phone. So let's go ahead and test that out. Hello, this is me talking on the other end of the phone. Wow, that's great echo. So as you could see, the output levels changed when I actually made sound on the other phone. So you can see you'll have two channels, one for you and one for your partner that you're calling using call recorder. Couldn't be any simpler. Pretty simple and easy basically. And when you're done with this, you can just hit stop on your recorder. I can hang up, and then to find the recording, I just hit this little show saved calls button. It's going to open a window that shows my list of saved calls. Here's my call, and I can literally play this call already. Okay, now we are recording, and I'm not really sure exactly what the output volume. Hello, this is me talking on the other end of the phone. Wow. And you can hear clearly that both ends of that conversation are represented quite nicely there. So, and this is an MOV file that can be used. It's one of the formats that we'll accept. So, pretty simple stuff. Not bad for $20. I better hang up. I'm already hearing the operator getting mad at me. So, okay, so those are two Skype call recording options. I hope that those look pretty easy to you as they do look to me. Again, there's no foolproof recording method, but if you have a couple of these available to you, you'll probably do fine. So we just covered the Skype recording options. Now let's cover one other option if you're using a computer. This is a recommendation that can work for either PC or Mac, and that is using Google Voice. And Google Voice is a free service for I know at least people in the U.S., continental U.S. I'm not sure what it is internationally, but Google Voice. If you have a Google account, you could probably get a Google Voice account and actually set up a phone number for yourself on Google Voice, and they will record your calls for you. So let me show you how that works. So here's how to record a call on Google Voice. First and most important thing to remember about recording Google Voice calls is that you can only record calls you've received, not calls that you've sent. So I can't call you and then record the call. You have to call my Google Voice line, and then I can record that call. Now the cool thing is my Google Voice line can be forwarded to any of my phones. So you can see this on settings. I have these different offices, these different phones, mobile. I've got office in San Diego, an office in Florida. I've got other homes where I've got specific phones that I might want to receive a call at. So I've got all those checked. I just check the ones that I want Google Voice to forward any calls that are made to the Google Voice number to that specific phone, and whichever phone I pick up, that's the one that actually connects, basically. So it's a really, really neat little system here. Once you receive a call, you can actually record that call. So I'm going to show you two different ways that this is done. One way is just by picking up the phone and hitting 4. Anytime somebody calls your Google Voice line, if you hit 4, there'll be an announcement that the call is being recorded. And then that's it. You're recording that call. Now I'm going to show you, however, if you are receiving a Google Voice call and you want to get it on your Gtalk line, you just make sure you're forwarding it to your Gtalk. I'll show you right here, showing that you're forwarding it to your Google Chat line, basically connected with your email, your Gmail email address. And then when somebody calls you, it'll actually forward to your GChat phone. So let's try that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the phone here and call my Google line. Now I'm going to receive that call on several numbers, but more importantly, I'm receiving it right here on my GChat. So I'll answer. Now I'm talking to myself. You can see that there's this little button here. This is the recording button. If I hit record,
this call is now being recorded.
You can hear that the call is being recorded. Now we're recording the call, and anything that's said from the other line, anything that's said from my originating line is being recorded by Google for me in the cloud. And I'm sure these recordings can go on quite a bit of time. I'm not sure what the limit is, but let's go ahead and stop the recording.
Call recording off.
And we'll end the call. Okay. So that was a pretty short version of the recording, but let me show you how easy it is to actually get these recordings. Just go to your Google Voice interface. You go down to More and you go to Recorded Calls. And then here's my recorded call. These are the recording from what we just did. So I'm just going to press play.
Call is now being recorded.
You can hear that the call is being recorded. Now we're recording the call, and anything that's said from the other line, anything that's said from my originating line is being recorded. And the cool thing is, if you just go to More, click it, and go to Download, there it is. Now I'm downloading the MP3. It's already downloaded. I can go take a look at this in my Finder. And I can play it because I now own that MP3 of that call.
Call is now being recorded.
You can hear that the call is being recorded now. Pretty cool, huh? So that's how to use Google Voice to record your coaching sessions. Now, I've got one last recommendation here, or actually a couple last recommendations, just in case none of those work for you or you don't want to use those. You can use recordmycalls.com. It's $5 to $10 per month, so nominal fee, and you'll probably only need it once in a while, so probably maximum is going to cost you $30-40 to make that happen. But it's not a service that I've ever used, but it's a pretty straightforward service from the looks of things. So check it out and feel free to use that. I'm sure it'll probably work just fine. Another solution is to purchase a voice tap. If you have a landline phone and you're going to use it, you can purchase this voice tap, about $39 for your phone. You can get it at telecomaudio.com. That's telecomaudio.com, and just order it. Again, it's $40. Purchase that for your phone. There's a little bit of assembly required. You do need to, put the right plug in the right place in the voice tap, basically, and then it has to connect to a computer, to a microphone jack in your computer. Very important to be able to have a computer that can record from this thing. So you're actually going to get a digital recording. Now, you will need like Audacity or some type of recording device in your computer. You can find some of these for free for either platform, so it shouldn't be any problem with getting recording software. Really, the hardware is all you need, that $39 voice tap, and everything else you can get at Radio Shack for $1 or $2. So that's an option. I actually use a voice tap from time to time. At this point, it's more of a redundancy because of the other solutions that I've found, but it is nice to have just in case another recording solution doesn't quite work. You can always talk to the geeks at Radio Shack. Radio Shack, there's always somebody that's very helpful in terms of talking to you about how to record anything nowadays. So a lot of people at Radio Shack are another tech-oriented or computer hardware or electronics hardware-oriented store. Should work just fine for getting you some more answers on how you can record your calls. So that's how to record and get an MP3 or an MOV file of your calls. How do you submit those audio files? Well, two main services I would recommend that you try. You can use yousendit.com or you can use sendbigfiles.com. There are other services other than these two. These are just the ones that I've experienced and used. Let me show you these right now. I'm not going to go through every single aspect of these services, but I just want to show you the online gateway for each of them. Here's yousendit.com. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, literally, you can start sending stuff for free, I believe, just by putting your email address and somebody else's email address or my email address. Select a file. That'll upload the file, and then send it. That's it. So that's YouSendIt. They do have a limit on, I think it's like a 100 megabyte limit, so you have to have audio files that are small enough, but chances are you'll have no problem with that. Send big files, same type of thing. Email, recipient's email, choose the file, and then click send. Pretty straightforward. There are many other services like this, but these two I'm sure will probably work fine for you. So that's how to submit your audio files. Okay, so that was a mouthful, how to receive coach quality and performance evaluations, 25 or higher, from those two recorded sessions. Let's move on to the fifth and final requirement and how to do it. Demonstrate intellectual mastery of the discipline in a short online exam. So again, this is an area where you should really just ace it if you've prepared. These are some areas to prepare for, though. First, knowledge of the discipline. You should have basic knowledge of the discipline, of course. Understanding of the tools and techniques and how they're used. So I will be testing you for your own understanding of the tools that that you've learned in the training and how they're used, how the actual tools are used. Mastery the key decisions involved in the discipline, meaning that every discipline there are some decisions you need to make in terms of what to communicate, what to coach on, how to coach, what technique to use, when to use it, how to communicate different things, where to take a client, what to focus on with a client, just lots of key decisions there. And so you need to know the most important key decisions and then which decision to make when, in what circumstance. I'm going to give you some of those questions in this online exam. Your online exam may include short answer and or essay questions. So that's going to be in the circumstance that you're needing to demonstrate intellectual mastery in the form of an actual situation, let's say, discussing how you would handle it in detail, or discussion of philosophies of the discipline, etc. So that's just a great way that you can truly demonstrate intellectual mastery through short answer and essay questions. So those are just areas to prepare for. If you go through everything that we send you through, you should do fine. So those are the 5 certification requirements, and then how to actually fulfill those requirements. So now let's look at how to graduate. Talk about Master Coach certification. How to graduate from Master Coach University. So, this ultimately, we're really just talking about getting your certificate or your certifications here. But remember, there really are 4 certifications. There are 4 certifications. There are 3 smaller certifications that ultimately lead to your 4th and finally your Master Coach certification. So, really these 3 are subordinate to the 4th. The 4th is the kind of the penultimate certification diploma that you receive, and the other 3 are just required in order to receive that one. So those first 3 are just smaller certifications that you get along the road, along the way. Another way of looking at this would be if you get certified in accountability, plus you get certified in strategy, plus you get certified in the assessment discipline, that's going to equal your diploma. Another way of calling that is your Master Coach certification. So accountability, certified accountability plus certified in strategy plus certified in assessment equals your Master Coach certification. Now, these are some things that are not necessary for you to graduate. Your 5-day Internet Coaching Client Machine Retreat, the Effortless Enrollment Mastery Program and one-on-one leadership coaching, the Quick Start Live Boot Camp, and the Master Coach Certification Training. In order to get certified, in order to graduate, you really just need to get through the 3 8-week immersion trainings and get your certification as a result of each of those. Fulfill on the requirements of each of those. And then you'll receive your Master Coach certification. These other programs, the 5-day Internet Coaching Client Machine Retreat is really more about the business and building the internet side of the business. Effortless Enrollment Mastery is about enrolling people, the salesmanship involved in generating business, and then we provide leadership coaching throughout that 6-month experience as well. So that's not about being certified as much as it is about supporting you and getting your business rolling and being effective in that business. The Quick Start Live Bootcamp is the same thing, basically. It's a quicker, simpler bootcamp form, just a 30-day program that gets you going in your business. It does teach you a lot of the basics of coaching, but again, if you're certified in all 3 of these disciplines, you know the basics at some level. The Quick Start Bootcamp and the Quick Start materials are more there to support you in understanding the basics and reinforcing those basics. So you can use this to help you as a coach in getting better scores and doing better in the immersion trainings, but it's not required for you to do it at all in order to receive your Master Coach certification. And then again, the Master Coach certification training, we're not requiring that as an on-site event. You do not need to attend that event. It is something you want to attend, but it's not required. So these are not things that are not required to graduate. They're not necessary. So we've covered everything I promised you: the purpose of the certification process, the certification requirements and how to get certified, and how to graduate Master Coach University and gain your Master Coach certification. So that concludes how to get certified in Master Coach University, your guide to the certification process. I look forward to getting you certified. Take care until then.